think we're here. Chat box. All right. Stream 2 days ago peaked at like 25 viewers talking Seahawks. I like that for you, Alf. I love that for you, man. Whoa, whoa. LOL, Micah, sup. We can go right into Micah Parsons talk if you like. That is hold on. So hold on a minute. Play online so late. Yeah, it's late. I gotta be honest, my sleep schedule's been completely fucked recently. My hold on a minute. I just want to make sure this is right. Give me like 1 minute. Hold on. Forget it. Fuck it. Anyway, I've been dealing with a couple things. So, to add insult to injury, just gonna give you a little breakdown here. I obviously my shoulder hasn't been great. Physical therapy on Wednesday. I pulled a muscle in my fucking abdominal area that has totally fucked me up. Where like I could barely sit up. If you notice me right now, I'm leaning over, and like I could barely like get up right now. That's where I'm at. So I've been having trouble sleeping even more than usual. It's not very comfortable sitting here, but I'll be okay for now. I figured I'd talk to you guys, and get all that out. So I'm just a mess. Don't ever get old. Do yourself a favor. It's the worst thing that'll ever happen to you. That's that. So anyway, hold on. The fuck, man. Channel. So yeah, that's that. Where's my mod? Little bro, for some reason I lost all the mods. I really don't have any idea, like, what happened to it. But, hold on. Sure you'll be alright. Can I look at this? But, oh my god, yes it is. You're pulling the wrong thing? What do you mean I'm pulling? Yeah, I'm pulling everything. That's the thing. Every single fucking thing. It's just the biggest thing is never get old. That's all I gotta say. Anyway, I think everyone lost the mod. Yeah, I have no idea. Dolphins. What about the Dolphins? Let me catch up. So if I was Seattle, I would have traded two first and one of our young edge rushers. I mean, Micah Parsons is, if not the best, he's one of the best pass rushers in the entire league. I think you're right. I think there's a lot of teams that probably would have given up what they gave up, and the Packers were just the first one to pull the trigger. Jerry Jones, the Donald Trump of football. I mean, I think Jerry Jones' hands were tied at some point. If you're not going to pay Micah Parsons, if you're not going to do it, I think cutting ties, getting some value back is a good move. It's brutal, though. It sucks for Cowboys fans. It sucks for the Cowboys. They've taken one giant step back. And, it doesn't even really benefit Micah Parsons. All this fighting, I don't know if you saw with the taxes, he ends up only making about an extra $900,000 in total. So, Packers fleeced the Cowboys, you think? Did you see the rivalry jerseys? The Pats have the best one, in my opinion. And Lil Bro says the Jets one looks good. I honestly didn't like the Jets one very much. I'm not the biggest fan of it. I think the Patriots do have a good one. I actually really like the Bills one. Is that the white one that they did? The snow white jerseys that they did? I think is really good. I think that came out phenomenal. But I wasn't the biggest fan of the Jets one. I don't know why. At first I thought it kind of looked like the Jaguars, but not as much. I got a better look at it, but Rams got the number one best. I got to look through them all because I haven't seen every single one of them. Buffalo's whiteout is really good, but whiteout is really difficult to mess up. Yeah, it is. It's kind of hard, but I don't know. It kind of looked cool. I think the graphic of it with Josh Allen holding the snowball, I thought that was pretty fire. I think it was it was probably more the way they announced it more than hey, it's actually really sick. You know what I mean? Let's see. Big hat, too big for your head. I don't think so, Alex. I think you're. I don't think it's big enough, man. You're just attracted to Josh Allen physically? Absolutely not. No, I hate Josh Allen in every way. Physically, mentally, I'm a Jet fan, man. 49ers jersey is literally a jersey they already have in rotation. I'm gonna have to look through every single one because, like, I heard a lot about them. I saw the Jets. I saw a few of them. Didn't see them all. Seahawks jersey is just a Ducks jersey rebranded, like Oregon Ducks. What are you talking about? It's too small for his head. He's attracted to Sauce Gardner physically. I'm not physically attracted to Sauce Gardner either. I like him. He's my corner. I like Sauce Gardner. Physically attracted to him? Probably not. No. Oh, Oregon Ducks. I didn't know. Like thinking Ducks, like Oregon Ducks, Anaheim Ducks. Wait, let me take a look. Because that probably would be easier if I just looked at all of them, right? Let's see, X. We'll go to X for this. I call it X now, but it's Twitter. It's still Twitter. Okay, the first one that popped up was the Seahawks. Not a fan. Bills is pretty good. The Cardinals is like weird looking. I'm not a big fan of it. 49ers, you're right. I've definitely seen them wear that before. Let's see. The Texans one. I'm not. I think that's like a normal jersey. I don't even think the Texans one is anything different. Let's see. Yeah, the Rams one is sick. You're right. I actually kind of like Miami's. I do like the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins have a good one. Patriots one is pretty nice. I actually really like Miami's. The Jets one kind of grew on me a little bit. It's not as bad as I originally thought. The Rams do have a good one. You guys are right about that. It keeps popping up. I like the Broncos one too. I mean, it's just like an old school jersey. Let's see. Yeah, that's really all I got up right now, but a lot of these are pretty cool. As a Patriots fan, I expect nothing less from a Jet fan commenting on good-looking athletes. I mean, Chad, I was asked about good-looking athletes by a Patriots fan. But yeah, whatever, man. Whatever floats your boat, you know. I get it. Yo, do you go to road Jet games? Sometimes. I went to London last year. Shock? What do you mean, shock? Cowboys are finished. Damn, Max Crosby is better than Micah Parsons. Depends on what you're talking about. Rookie of the year and mid defensive lineman around him. Huh. Packers first seed in the NFC, calling it. I mean, the Packers definitely got a lot better today. Not a doubt. No doubt in my mind. I mean, the Packers have significantly bolstered their front line, their front seven, their defense as a whole. Packers got much better today. Who the fuck goes to London and watches an NFL game? Are you in the Illuminati? What do you mean, who the fuck goes to London? Somebody whose team is playing in London, Nate. I don't know. Is that not like the easiest answer to that question? The Jets were there. I've never been to Europe. So I was like, fuck it. I'm going to go and follow the Jets. Jerry Jones said we need to stop the run, and he gave away his best player. Yeah, but I mean, Micah Parsons wasn't really a run stopper. Going to see Jets at Bengals in October. I like that, Dixon. I almost plan to go to the same game. A lot of things came up recently, so I'm not going to be there because I'm not even sure if I'm going to be back at work yet by then. But one of my buddies is a diehard Bengals fan. We were talking about doing that trip. London still exists. I thought it felt no. Defensive Rookie of the Year will be Abdul Carter, the safe pick. I do like Abdul Carter a lot. He's such a talent, and even at his undersize, he was so dominant at Penn State. I don't think it's going to take him long to transition into the NFL and be a dominant player. Packers defense going to be elite this season? Oh yeah. No, the Packers got significantly better with one move. They were a team. They probably. I don't know if any team could have impacted themselves more getting a guy like Micah Parsons. I felt like it was a perfect fit for the Packers. Going to Seahawks Rams Thursday Night Football. It's the Seahawks rivalry game. I might get one. Not a huge fan. It'll just be a come on. Yeah. No, it'll be something to look back on it someday. It'll be nice. It's a nice, it's a nice think piece. What the past few days in sports? Parsons trades Schwarber, 4 bombs, Cal breaking record, CFP, and NFL starting. Yeah, it's been a crazy couple weeks. The NFC is so weak. The Packers just got so much better. Yeah, the NFC is not. I wouldn't say it's wide open. I felt like the Eagles were like the top tier, and then there was everybody else. The Packers have gotten significantly better for sure. I think they're the best team in the NFC North now, and I don't even think it's close. Yeah, okay, it's close. Saying it's not close is kind of an insane thing. I think the Lions are going to be affected by losing both their coordinators. I do think that's something that's going to make them take a step back. Packers with Micah Parsons are a better football team than they were a year ago. The biggest problem with them last year in that postseason game against the Eagles, they were missing offensive linemen. They were absolutely decimated on the offensive line, and the Seahawks didn't allow Jordan Love to do a thing. A healthy Packers roster, they're dangerous this year. Okay, they're playing Travis Hunter both ways. Can he win offensive and defensive rookie of the year? No, not a chance. I don't think it's even going to last that he plays both sides. It's crazy. If you're a team playing against the Jacksonville Jaguars, right? And you know Travis Hunter is on the field, you attack him every chance you get, especially on defense. You run the ball right at him because you take away his offensive prowess if you do that. You make him work on the defensive end. I don't think it's something that's going to work out. Parsons trade is equivalent to the Luka trade. Not really. I wouldn't call it the same thing. Luka is just about in the prime of his career. I felt like Micah Parsons at least made some sense that he got moved. Jets over 7 wins this season. Yeah. What about the other 9 games that they play? Excuse me, 10. What about the other 10? That's the first 7 games, right? I had the Lions winning the division, but not after this. I think the Eagles are still top tier, but I think the Packers are right behind. I agree. I still think the Eagles are going to be the team to beat in the NFC, but the Packers have definitely made themselves much better. It's just crazy to me that, Micah Parsons and all this, after all this noise and after all this money he wanted, you guys know he's only making $900,000 more. I mentioned that at the beginning of the stream, but that's how the taxes work. That's how LMAO, put your dad's hat back. Okay, what? But the tax situation, Micah Parsons really didn't make any more money than he probably would have with the Cowboys. Teams who can run up the gut consistently will run all over them. Eagles and Lions, to name 2 big ones. Yeah, you're right there. We already know he asked out. He's a little older and counting in football, way older, can't control and lead a franchise like Luka. Yeah, it's 2 different situations. Obviously, with 2 different sports, you're dealing with 2 completely different situations, but I don't know. I don't think the Micah Parsons situation and Luka is similar. Luka could totally take over a franchise. Eric, I read it the first time, man. It really wasn't that good of a joke. And you doubled down. I respect it. Sometimes when you say something louder, it doesn't make it any funnier than the first time. But, hey, man, good attempt, good effort. Derek, they got more picks than the Mavs did, where the picks are way more valuable in the NFL than the NBA. Yeah, I mean, I don't think the Cowboys could have gotten more, Derek. I don't agree with that at all. I think you're looking at it as Micah Parsons, I think, got a return back that was probably pretty spot on, I would think. I don't agree that they could have gotten more. I don't even think the Cowboys got fleeced that bad. I think they were in a situation that they couldn't win. All right, Flay, if you're in between Joe Namath and Josh Allen, no, I'm not answering that. What do you mean? Why are you asking be for real and then saying please? Why do you need to know that answer so bad? No. I think you're giving too much credit to the former Lions coordinators on last year's success. I don't think I am. I don't think I am at all. I think Jared Goff absolutely succeeded a lot because of Ben Johnson's offense and because of the way he ran, the formations and, the movement in his offense. I felt like Jared Goff took a giant step forward because of Ben Johnson. I don't think it was the other way around. I don't think Jared Goff made Ben Johnson look good. I think Ben Johnson made Jared Goff look a little bit better. That's just my opinion. We'll see what happens this year. As a Bengals fan, we should have tried to trade Trey and a pick for Parsons, especially since Jerry is senile. but apparently we don't try to get better. Um, yeah, that's like that's something they could have done. But again, I think I think people are just dogging Jerry Jones to dog Jerry Jones. I think his hands were tied in this situation, and he got what he could for a guy for an elite pass rusher. I think you guys are giving way too much. You know, uh, you're going at Jerry Jones a little too much there. Jared Goff took the Rams to a Super Bowl once upon a time without Ben Johnson. That's true. But then Jared Goff kind of withered away in misery for a couple of years and then came back. But yeah, Took is very generous. You know, plus one bad call away from Breeze being there instead. That's true. They definitely should not have been there. Dallas Cowboys versus Packers. It's going to be a great game on Sunday Night Football. What is that week? What week is that? I don't even know. Got an eye doctor appointment in the morning, so I will see y'all tomorrow. Yeah, little bro, have a good night, man. But yeah, I don't think Jared Goff was the main reason that Rams team got there. That was a very good Rams team. Like, I don't know. I never thought Jared Goff was that good until 2 years ago. Jerry Jones is a fucking moron. He deserves the hate he got. I don't agree one bit. I think his hands are tied. Why you into sports is completely irrelevant. Only degenerates like it. It's trash with law. I mean, Eric, I don't know, man. Why are you still here? Like, we're talking sports. Like, why are you sticking around just to be like, oh man, why do you like sports? Like, that's like the elitist mentality. No, listen, I get it. It's just a question, but I'm gonna answer it. You know, you sitting here going like, I don't understand why people like sports. Like, you're the smartest guy in the room is like, I don't know, kind of asinine to me. You know, people have their interests. Coming in here and being like, your interests are stupid. Like, what are you into? What do you like to do in your spare time? It's a question. That's all I'm asking. Looking at degenerates. Because we're talking about sports. That's your favorite thing to do? I mean, then I don't know, man. Maybe go outside once in a while. I think it's a fair response. I think, like, you asked me, why are you into sports? Why are you here if I'm talking sports and you hate it so much? What do you mean his hands were tied? I mean, I don't think he was taking any sort of money from the Cowboys. I don't think the Cowboys were willing to go any further. A lot of people I don't think would do well in a negotiation situation when it comes to free agents. Some of these teams, when they get into a free agency argument with a player, they have a number that they're going to stick to, especially in the NFL when you got a salary cap like that. They're going to stick to a number. They value the player for what they value him for. And if he doesn't want to take the money, they're not just going to give him the money. I think too many people look at it like, oh, just give him whatever he wants. Sometimes these teams don't do it because they can't afford to do it or they don't want to do it. So for Jerry Jones, he clearly wasn't going any higher on the money he was willing to give Micah Parsons. So at that point, you cut ties. It's a severed relationship. Hating sports is straight hatership. I mean, listen, everybody can have their own opinion. They can be entitled to whatever they want. Just coming in here and being like, I don't get why you like that. Like, okay, then tell me what you like. And then why are you still sitting here? That's just, I mean, I think it's a fair response. Jared Goff is my former quarterback. All he does is win. I miss him. Stafford gave me a ring, but I think Goff wins it if he was the quarterback of that 21 Rams team, too. I don't know about that. Matthew Stafford was unbelievable on that team. Kenny Clark is pretty good, but he isn't that special. Kenny Clark been in the league forever. How the fuck is he still in his 20s? Yeah, I feel like Kenny Clark's been around. Yeah. He has been around a while. He's still in his him still being in his 20s is kind of nuts. But okay, that makes sense. He's a name I've been hearing forever. That is a horrendous take. Yo, what up, man? Appreciate the love. Mr. Leahy, I love it. Jim Leahy. How you doing, Randy? Jared Goff is not leading that game-winning drive. I agree. Matthew Stafford was phenomenal that 21 season. Jocelyn, how are we? To go into it and be like, I'm just trying to understand why would anyone take interest in this? For gambling is the only answer. That's just not the case, Eric. Like, Eric, let me ask you something. What are your hobbies other than like, sitting here and trying to pretend like you're the smartest guy in here? Like, I'm genuinely asking. Like, genuinely, and I'm not trying to be a dick. I mean, I'm allowed to sit here and you're trying to look at us as a bunch of degenerates. We're people that like sports. We're people who are entertained by sports. Because it's fun, because following the players' storylines and watching the action is exciting as fuck. Exactly. Because nothing is scripted. It's like, sports is the best theater possible. Because you never know what's going to happen. Yo, Flay, my 8th grade season just started. My team's pretty good so far. Already got a spot up at my high school as 8th grade. I hope you have an amazing night. Talon, have a good night, man. You're already on the high school team in 8th grade? Good for you. Electrical engineering? Okay, nice. What did C. White say? Sorry. Over under Raiders wins 2. I mean, I'm sure they're going to win more than 2 games. Well, you saw South Florida kicking ass on Boise State. That was an unbelievable ass kicking that they put on them. What's his name? Byron Brown, right? Is it Byron Brown? He was the real deal 2 years ago. Got hurt a year ago. This South Florida team, a lot of transfers, a lot of very good talent they put on that roster. I'm not necessarily surprised they beat Boise State, but I'm surprised that they beat them up as bad as they did. I'm not better than anyone. I'm here to understand. All right, that's fair. Listen, I'm Eric. I'm not trying to fight with you. I genuinely. I'm just sitting here trying to have a discussion. But yeah, electrical engineering sounds miserable. To me, to a guy like me, to you, it might be very entertaining. But I get it. Everybody's got their own opinion. Eric is right. Can we stop talking about sports? It's a waste of time. What do you mean? It's the best fucking theater. And I like the hat. Thanks, Eric. No, listen, Eric. At the end of the day, I wasn't trying to start a fight with you. It's one of those things. You're like, oh, why are you talking about sports? Because we love sports, man. It's the fucking way she goes. Someone said Boise State is overrated, but they aren't. They weren't going to be good as last season. Well, yeah, I mean, I think obviously Ashton Jeanty had a lot to do with what Boise State was a year ago. But there's way more to it. That whole offense kind of took a hit. They lost their wide receivers. The interior of their line is, the interior of their line was back from a year ago. But Maddox last year was not exactly a world-beating quarterback. And now when you take away a premier running back like Ashton Jeanty, he's got to be the guy to go out there and make things happen. The thing is, when it comes to college football, and when it comes to the NFL, I don't think running backs mean that much. College is a little bit different because not everybody on the field is a professional level football player. So, I'm just listening. Yeah, that's fine. Why are we crying about sports being talked about? Derek, it is what it is, man. But Boise State is cooked this year. Yeah, I mean, having to become a passing offense, even the running backs they were throwing out there today, nobody was really that impressive. You lose a pass catching back. Jeanty was so good at so many different things. He was a pass threat. He was a breakaway speed threat. It was Ohio State is going to poop on Texas. You think so? I think that game's going to be tight. I think we're in for a very good game. I don't know. I think Arch Manning's going to show us something. Jets were awesome in NFL Blitz 2000. I never played NFL Blitz 2000. The only NFL Blitz I ever played was 2004, I think, or 3. And I never liked those games. I don't know. A lot of people love those Blitz games. I was never a big Blitz guy. I'm going to give a list of older players I think are going to fall off. Wait. Okay, yeah, go for it. Also, just started football for my school, starting tight end. Good for you. Starting tight end. I love that. Texas plays its toughest game of the year, week 1. It's kind of crazy to both these teams coming right out of the gate playing their toughest, it might not be the toughest game of the year for Ohio State by the end of it, but to start the year with the number 1 team in the country coming to town is impressive. I like looking at playbooks. See, that's a sports thing. That's a fun thing. The X's and O's. Have a good night, man. Ohio State is not pooping on Texas. Texas is going to be very tough. They got their strong defense. It's really the unknown of what Ohio State's offense is going to look like. They lost so many pieces from a year ago. It's more of the unknown of Ohio State. I can't sit here and tell you Ohio State's going to lose that game. I can't sit here and tell you I think they're going to win. I really don't know what's going to happen. I have no idea. Arch Manning has shown signs of being a very good quarterback. Obviously, the number one prospect. He has sat behind Quinn Ewers the last 2 years. It's finally his turn to take the keys of this offense. We're expecting big things out of a guy like Arch Manning. You know, everybody's a great fighter until they get punched in the mouth. So what's going to happen when Arch Manning steps up there in a hostile environment like Columbus, Ohio, where the crowd is going to be nuts, that you're the number one team going on the road against the defending national champions? We're going to have to see what Arch Manning's made of. I personally think the kid's going to be a stud, but we're going to see week one. Ashton Genty, did I hear you talking good about my running back? Yeah, in college. Let's see. Fall off. DeAndre Hopkins, Amari Cooper, Alvin Kamara, Cooper Kupp, Nick Chubb, Travis Kelce, Jonnu Smith. I agree. I would not draft any one of those guys in fantasy. Who's your most favorite receiver and handoff sneak plays? Just curious. Who's my favorite receiver currently like to watch? And handoff sneak plays. What do you mean by handoff sneak plays? So, my favorite current receiver to watch is... Let me think about that. It's honestly probably Justin Jefferson. Hang on, Stephon Diggs, James Conner, Calvin Ridley, Adam Thielen. I don't know. I think Diggs... I don't think Diggs is going to be very good. Like handoffs, yeah? What do you mean, like handoffs? I mean, Jamar Chase is a great wide receiver. I just like watching Justin Jefferson because of the big body. Like a lateral. I don't know what you're asking. Like what's my favorite running play? Is that what you're asking? I think the best running plays are the ones straight ahead. You know, north-south. The quickest way to the end zone is a straight line. Diggs was really good last year when he played, and he's going to be getting hella targets in New England. I think he's also going to be what the defense game plans around, and I just feel like he's up there. I don't know. We'll see. I know Stephon Diggs is good. He's asking what's your favorite lateral. I don't know, the option lateral? I don't know. What kind of different types of laterals are there? Like, what are we talking here? Oh, the football player that could rush the best. Like my favorite running back to watch. I think it's an easy answer. Saquon Barkley is probably... You know, you never know with him. He could just break out. Like he's a guy that, like, the second he gets to the second level, he's gone. And he's one of those running backs. He can run through you, around you. Like, to me, that's the most entertaining. He's the most entertaining back to watch in the league, especially with that Eagles front line. Forget it. It's got to be Saquon Barkley for me. Favorite running back, A.J. Dillon or Samaje Perine? Absolutely underrated bruisers. I mean, yeah, Samaje Perine never really got enough credit. I'll take a look. His name's Saquon Barkley. Yes. You know what's wild? One of my best bros was going to keep it a surprise, but he told me about a week or so ago, even though he was going to keep it a surprise, but he bought. What'd he buy? Suspense is killing me. A Jonathan Taylor jersey and a Colts hat for my birthday in September. That's sick. Oh, that's nice. That's cool of him. Mm-hmm. That's nice of him. A Jonathan Taylor jersey and a Colts hat. Huh. That's cool. Yeah, you know, I'm not good with keeping surprises like that either, Derek. I'm one of those people that, you know, when I buy somebody something, I just want to give it to them right away because I just want to see the look on their face. So I get where your friend's coming from. We're like, yeah, to let you know. Why did you just moan like that when you look at your phone? Moan like what? It's just because every time I turn, I'm fucking in pain, dude. It's more so my fucking... I told you I strained my fucking ab. Like this part of my ab right here. this right here, the top part, like where the sternum is, like every time, like even just like leaning back like that, just fucked me up. So I probably only just like that. Parsons jerseys are 50% off. Get yours today. Yeah, I mean, if you ever wanted a Cowboys Micah Parsons jersey, now's the time. One of my league's fantasy punishments this year is for the loser to buy a jersey of the biggest bust they drafted for themselves in the winter. I like that. You happen to buy the jersey of the guy that screwed up your season? Oh, I would hate that thing. It happened to me, like, who was it last year for me? Like, Dak Prescott was so bad for me a year ago. It's why I finished last. If I had to buy his jersey, I'd be miserable. He's going to give it to me when we go see the Colts Rams on September 28th. When my birthday is September 19th, he tricked me when asking me my jersey size and what hat. Yeah, hey, that's a great move. That's a great friend, too. Thoughts on the Baltimore Ravens will do this season? I mean, I think the Baltimore Ravens are a Super Bowl contender. I think they're absolutely going to win the North. Them, Kansas City. Like, I don't even know if I'd put Buffalo in that mix. I think the Bills are going to be good. The Bills are going to run through the AFC East. But I think Kansas City and Baltimore are kind of a step above both. I could see the Ravens. I could see the Ravens winning the Super Bowl. I think they're that good. I seen him. Saquon is all over the place. Let's see. Last year, it was Amir White. I'm conjuring Lamar to get injured. Watch out for Cincy. Cincinnati will be good, but the defense worries me. Yeah, I mean, Cincinnati, they almost snuck their way in the postseason last year because of how good Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase were. You got to wonder if, like, that defense, did it get that much better in a year? Is Joe Burrow and that offense going to be able to keep up with how bad their defense is again this year? It's a question. We'll see what happens. That defense just has to be better. And that's what could kill the Bengals. Because if that Bengals team had even a competent defense, that they would be in the playoffs every single year, without a doubt. Saquon was awesome against the Green Bay game. He was awesome pretty much every time he stepped on the field. But yeah. Sam W. profile pic? What is it? I don't know what that is. You said Buffalo was the best bet to win the Super Bowl and was the easiest money. I said it was the easiest money because you could cash it out in the postseason, Nathan. The reason I say the Bills to win the Super Bowl is my best bet is the value of it. And strictly because the AFC East is so bad that there's no way. The Bills, like, Josh Allen could get hurt. No, I'm not going to say that. The Bills are going to run through the AFC East and probably get the 1 seed out of it just because of the fact. Like, I'm expecting the Bills to get the 1 seed and get that bye because of the 6 games they play against the other AFC East teams. That's why I have them as my best bet to win the Super Bowl, because all you got to do is have them get the 1 seed and you cash out. I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl, but it gives you the option to cash out at the end. It's not necessarily that I think they're going to win. It's that I think, like, Baltimore, they have a pretty good team in Cincinnati, a team that's not terrible in the Pittsburgh Steelers. Might be a little bit harder for them to get that 1 seed. You ever watch Terrifier? I've never. Jets are my second team. I'm hoping Aaron Glenn can do something for them. Fields delivers, but I've read... Yeah, Justin Fields has been miserable in practice. Every time I look at a video of him, every time I see something that one of the writers says, Justin Fields has not been very good. Derek, yeah, Fields hasn't gotten a real chance. Much love. Have a good chat. Hope your conference is a good one. Night, bro. Hey, Eric, have a good night, man. I feel like we got off on the wrong foot, but I was just genuinely asking questions. Real family-friendly movie. Fields hasn't gotten a real chance. It's true. Justin Fields has not been just handed the keys to an offense. And, like, when he was in Chicago, that offensive line, the way that offensive line was built, he was going to die back there. I think this Jets offensive line is better than they've been in recent years. Probably the best iteration of the Jets offensive line in at least the last 10 years. Fields will have more time to make decisions. I'm hoping they simplify the offense a little bit for him. Allow him to use his legs, create him as a weapon in the running game as like basically an extra skill position. Thanks for the insight on Saquon. Of course, man. Yeah, I'm not really a second team guy either. I guess some people do it. I couldn't. I'm not somebody. Every other team to me is just the worst. Even as a Ravens fan, I have Bills and Lions Super Bowl. Or or Chiefs Eagles rematch, sleeper Super Bowl, Bengals Commanders. Yeah, I mean, if like I said, if I had to pick a team to make the Super Bowl right now, if I had to guess, I'd probably take the Baltimore Ravens in the AFC. There's a big difference between who I think is going to get there and what I think the best value bet is. That's why I think the Bills are the best value. More so as the idea of they get to the postseason, you cash out. Mark Davis, owner of the Raiders, paid Max Crosby what he wanted. I think Jerry Jones has more money. Again, Mike, when you have a salary cap, you're playing a different game. It doesn't matter how much money you have if the salary cap doesn't add up. Max Crosby's a great player. Also, the Raiders had an advantage. Kind of like, I guess the Cowboys had the same thing with like the state tax. So I don't even know where I was going. I think having two teams shows no loyalty. I think it definitely skews, like, it definitely forces you to make some tough decisions. I think I have enough of a tough time having one team. I don't have a second team, really. I just like a few teams I like more than others. There's teams I enjoy watching more. Like, who's a team, like, that I can't stand watching play football? And it's got nothing to do with, like, I don't dislike them. I don't actually hate them or anything. Just for some reason, the New York Giants are such a boring fucking team to watch play football. And I don't know why. I really don't have a good reason. Anytime I put the game on, it's like I want to take a nap. I like football too. I'm just not a fanatic. I was a Rams fan. I get it. Second team is in. If that team is on, I don't mind watching them or rooting for them. Although I'm not a diehard Jets fan at all, but I just wouldn't mind them doing good. They've been bad for so long. Thanks, Sam. You know what? That's a hell of a backhanded compliment to give the Jets right there. Thank you. They've been bad for so long. I'm just dying to see them do anything. Imagine how I feel. Every year I sit here. I'm like, you know what? I think the Jets could do something this year. I lie to you guys. Tell you the Jets are going to do this. The Jets are going to do that. I know the Jets aren't going to do shit. But I still have to sit here, pretend like the Jets aren't the shitty fucking team that I know they are. And I get to be miserable. Oof. Man. Been a while since we just had like a nice sports discussion. What I'm trying to get back to. My buddy's a huge Lions fan, so I've seen what he's gone through. Yeah. They've had a rough go of it. They've had a couple good years, but it's been a long time of a rough go. Love the Jets, too. The uniforms are kick-ass. The Jets have had some pretty sweet uniforms over the past couple years, but that's about it. That's the only sweet thing they've had. I have no second team, but I do like watching the Steelers, and I have over time. My pops is a Steelers fan, but also likes Rams for being in L.A. Number one team is the Steelers. The two teams I root for in a supporting way is the Vikings and Colts. It's fair. Can't stand watching the Browns play. Shedeur Sanders is slowly changing that. NBA team, I'm a Knicks fan. Die-hard Knicks fan. Love the Knicks. I was at Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals in Indianapolis. Probably one of the best games I've ever been to. So, Nathan, let me ask you something. How is Shedeur Sanders changing that? Like, just out of curiosity. Like, I got to say, from what I saw of Shedeur Sanders, if we want to go into that real quick, and his preseason, man, big Celtics fan here. All right, we'll have some fun this year. We trust me, we'll go at it. We'll get there come basketball season. Every time I watch Shedeur Sanders, Nathan, and like I think Shedeur Sanders has a lot of talent. I do. I actually think like arm talent wise, he's got it. He can move around. I think just it's all mental with him. His pocket presence just isn't there. A bunch of times he ran himself into sacks. Like, he drops back. He has a tendency, like, when he drops back, he keeps dropping back until he finds a receiver. And that just doesn't work, like, because the offensive linemen aren't, aren't blocking. Like, if he keeps moving backwards, it just makes the angle for these pass rushers to get to him easier. And anytime, like, something like that happens, Shedeur Sanders is like a magnet for, like, plays going from bad to disaster. I don't know if he's going to be able to overcome that and ever make an impact in the NFL. I think that's his biggest test. Shedeur didn't look bad his first preseason game, if I'm not mistaken, like 130 yards, 2 touchdowns. Yeah, listen, he did look good in his first game. I think it's, like I said, arm talent is there. Like, his arm talent's there. He's a good athlete. It's just that, like I said, it's more so the fundamentals of being a quarterback. Like, the dropping back thing, when he drops back to pass, where he just, like, keeps going backwards until he finds an open receiver, that's never going to work. Like, that's something that it's going to cause him to get sacked constantly, and a coach will never put a guy like that on the field. Sanders is going to flop in the NFL. I don't see him succeeding. Um, like I said, talent-wise, straight up arm talent, straight up like throwing the football and being a quarterback like that, he's not bad. It's so many other things like, his consistent history of throwing his teammates under the bus, like what do you call it? Like doesn't take any of the blame, won't do it. What's up, Thomas? That sort of shit. It's just bad qualities in a guy who is the quarterback of your football team. I feel like he can grow up. I think he's somebody that maybe in a couple years he sits around, he figures out what it just grows up a little bit. Because playing college football and playing for your dad, I don't know if everybody played sports growing up. There's always this stigma around the coach's son where the coach's son can get away with anything. The guy played college football for his dad. Now, I'm not saying Deion Sanders is a bad football coach. There's just a bias immediately when it comes to having your son on the team. So Shane Gillis made a funny joke saying, "How did this guy get his jersey retired?" Yeah, exactly. Almost won the Alamo Bowl. That's the bias in Colorado right there. There's guys who don't have their number retired. I'm pretty sure Cordell Stewart does not have his number retired by Colorado, and I think he won a Heisman Trophy if I'm mistaken. Maybe he didn't, but he won a national championship at least. There are guys that don't have their number retired at Colorado. I have no issue with Travis Hunter having his number retired. He won a Heisman Trophy, absolutely deserves that. But throwing Shedeur in the mix, that's when you realize, hey, this guy has been given some fake, his dad has pretty much told him, you're the man, which is a great thing for a coach to do, but there's no reality check for a kid like that. You just said he's an athlete and not a football player. Yeah, you're right. What the Bucs did with Desmond Watson is fucked up. Yeah, you don't draft a kid like that if you're just going to make him walk around and try to lose weight. I think that was a crazy move. Coach's son was always the worst or best player. There's no in between. Did you see how Michael Irvin guaranteed Parsons not being traded and then 2 hours later Parsons is traded? I saw a lot of people say it. Travis is stud, man. Hopefully Jacksonville doesn't sink his career. I think Travis Hunter is an amazing football player. It's incredible that he can be at the NFL level playing two sides of the ball. I don't think it's something that's going to last just because, like I said, teams are going to start game planning to make sure he takes hits. It's just the way it goes. I have a new channel. What's your new channel, Thomas? Y'all are some haters. Shedeur is legendary. Perfect timing. Nathan, what about Shedeur Sanders makes you say he's going to be legendary? I think Shedeur Sanders is a guy that, when he figures it out, when he, it's more so that he's a great athlete, throws the football very well, doesn't do the things a quarterback needs to do to win games. I hope another team gives Watson a chance. Speed is live. He's live right now? Damn. That's where all my viewers are. Damn. Thomas the car spotter? I like that. Trains and cars with Thomas. I like that. Yeah, no, Leandro, that was a terrible thing they did to that kid. It's just not fair. It was never fair. I wish my Ravens could have traded for him. LOL, that would have been insane. Doubt we even have the money to pay him, though. Yeah, I can't imagine that would have worked out with the money. I'm more surprised the Cowboys traded him within the conference. That was a little bit shocking, but I guess the Packers were willing to pay up. Clearly. He's traveling across America 24/7 stream. I didn't realize it was 24/7. I saw he was traveling across America. Shedeur has that one long sleeve on one arm and no sleeve on the other arm. Never been done before at quarterback. All right, you got me then, Nathan. Then he's going to be a legend. No, I mean, the kid, he's a great athlete, throws the football very well. Just there's certain mechanical things that he's got to do as a quarterback. Learn how to not take 25-yard sacks and shit like that. That's exactly what I just said. That shocked me. Yeah, you did. You did say it. It's crazy. Cowboys shouldn't care where they trade him. They weren't contenders before. You're right, though, Leangelo. They were never contenders. On a human level, what the Bucs did was terrible. Working hard his whole life and finally made it to the league just to get bullied. Yeah, to get thrown out there in front of everybody, hey, look at this fat guy. Walk him around the field. It's just awful. But also at the same time, for a guy like that, you get signed by an NFL team. They put you out there and they say you got to lose weight. and really not make that much progress, it kind of shows maybe they were hoping he'd work. Maybe there was a bad, maybe there was a stigma on him that they were hoping was wrong. And I don't know. Usually these teams do things for a reason. Wait, when are you doing the one chip? Oh, shit, yeah, I got to do the one chip one of these days. You're right. Green Bay, out of everyone, I didn't expect them to be in the market, but I obviously don't follow them at all. Yeah, I mean, Green Bay kind of popped up, what was that, like 2 or 3 days ago? People were talking about them, and then it was like it was a rumor, and then it finally happened. Sanders forgot about being great. He's just got to start being good. Yeah. Well, he was a great college quarterback because, he was a great athlete that could afford to run around the backfield with the football in his hand. Not going to work in college. I mean, in the NFL, it just does not work. Again, great arm talent. I think Shedeur Sanders has a lot of potential if he ever puts it together as a quarterback. If he ever gets the mental side of being a quarterback down and doesn't make dumb mistakes and shit. I shall speak on an NPC talking right now to chat while he's sleeping for day 2 of his America tour. I hope my stream gets big enough that I could do that someday. Do you only need 10 more? Oh, true. Yeah, I think I do. You remember when he threw that Hail Mary and the receiver dropped it and threw another Hail Mary the next play and the receiver caught it with no time left? Yeah, but I've seen guys throw Hail Marys that get caught in college. I also saw him get absolutely smoked in Nebraska and then throw his entire offensive line under the bus. There's way more bad than good when it comes to Shedeur Sanders. Don't get me wrong. He had a lot of really good games in college against much lesser opponents. When the time came when good teams would show up in Colorado or when he'd go on the road against good football teams, Shedeur Sanders rarely ever showed up. Again, I think he's got a talented arm. He could potentially be a good quarterback. When are you getting the super chat? It should be very soon, Derek. I think I told you what happened. I had a bunch of videos that were copyrighted that I didn't even realize. Just because there was like music in the background and shit. So it kind of reset my number a little bit. But we're close. I'm only like 100 watch hours away at this point. There was I had to go back and find the videos that had like the little copyright symbol and just get rid of them. And apparently those were like holding me back. So it's only about like 150 hours at this point, which I should be able to get in like 3 streams. Plus I started making daily videos. If you guys still like those, if there's anything you want me to talk about in my daily video tomorrow, please let me know. But that's like getting watch hours off the clock. Shedeur owns Northern Idaho Bunker University. Some people think different though. Like you shouldn't call out your teammates out, but others think hold certain people accountable if they aren't doing their job. Yeah, but that's the job of the coach, Sam. That's not the job of the quarterback. If the coach wants to go out there and hold these guys accountable, do it. But as a quarterback, you're the guy who's supposed to be leading the roster and, being the guy, you're the guy that talks in the huddle. You go to the media after the game after you completely shit the bed in Nebraska and go, yeah, my offensive line didn't protect me. That's insane. Insane. That's the coach's job to come out and say it. Not the starting quarterback after completely shitting the bed in one of the biggest games of his career. That's the accountability issue, is that he took none of it. Behind closed doors, you go in there and go, hey, you guys got to figure it out. Not in front of the media. You take the accountability. I love Shedeur Sanders. I think he should start week 1. Flacco is honestly the best option for Cleveland right now if they want to look somewhat competent franchise. Oh, for sure. If day 1 the Cleveland Browns have to play to try to make the postseason, Joe Flacco is their best option, without a doubt. And that is pathetic. He isn't good enough to work for week 1. Browns made the right call. Flacco, 100%. The thing about starting Flacco is, they have some value with Kenny Pickett when they traded him. If Sanders' last name was Johns, do you think he would have gotten drafted in the NFL? No, absolutely not. I don't think Shedeur Sanders would be an NFL prospect if he wasn't Deion's son. I agree with that. Do I think he would have gotten signed by somebody? Yeah, probably. The kid's got some arm talent. There's definitely some potential there. But I think if he wasn't such a polarizing figure If his father wasn't Deion Sanders, I don't think he would have gotten drafted. No, definitely not. If it's not your fault and it's not your fault, he shouldn't take the blame for something that isn't his fault. That era of behavior is over. Nathan, that's just not how that works. Like when it comes to sports, when it comes to football like that, you really are the face of a program that pretty much is the Hollywood of the mountains, right? There is a magnifying glass on the program of Colorado because those guys put it over themselves. At Colorado, you're basically every single move you make because everybody wants to watch them. Deion's such a high-profile guy. He's got everybody has their eyes on that program. You go out there, you shit the bed. He didn't play well either. It's not even like his offensive line was that bad. If you actually go back and watch that game, there were a couple times where Shedeur Sanders ran himself into sacks. Good job, play drinking the electrolyte water. Yeah, I got another one of these bottles because I've been a little bit dehydrated. If you go back and watch that Nebraska game, which I don't expect you will, there were a lot of times where he just held on to the ball too long. Shedeur would be DJ Uiagalelei if he wasn't Deion's son. 100%. Absolutely. I agree. Never mind, I didn't go to bed. What happened? That was quick. Like, Shedeur's biggest problem is he doesn't make quick decisions. He never even made quick decisions in college. That's something in the NFL. You have about, on average, 3 seconds to make a play. At most. You're getting like 3 to 4 seconds. Shedeur Sanders tends to hold on to the ball a while. Not going to work in the NFL. He's got to make quicker decisions. Maybe he can develop that. Maybe he can start being a little more, cognizant, but that's fine. When you're getting slammed, you start seeing ghosts. That's common. Sanders would have been drafted number 1 if his daddy didn't have a loud mouth. Absolutely not. No chance. Not 0% chance. No. No. The only reason Shedeur Sanders is in the NFL is because his dad is Deion Sanders. That's it. There's no... That's just not the case. This whole, fake outrage that he was blacklisted is insane. And I think the only reason he got drafted is because the Browns' ownership is a fucking joke. Yeah, Cam Ward, with it halfway through the season, Cam Ward was the number 1 pick. Flacco is better than, as of now, Justin Fields. No disrespect. Caleb Williams called me crazy. I don't agree. I don't totally agree with that. I think Flacco's probably better than Justin Fields. I have high hopes for Caleb Williams. I also have high hopes for Bryce Young. I think Flacco's definitely the lowest tier of, NFL quarterback right now. He's at that bottom. Why did my camera just unfocus? Do you do any fantasy football? I'm in so many fucking leagues. It's crazy. Hold on. I don't know why my camera just lost focus there for a second. I have high hopes for Bryce Young. I think Bryce Young's going to be a fine quarterback this year. But also, Aaron Rodgers had a great year a year ago. You're right about that. Aaron Rodgers is definitely not one of those guys. Adam Thielen back to the Vikings, Cooks back to the Saints, Amari back to the Raiders. Renfro going back to the Raiders next? I hope so. That'd be kind of sweet. The lowest tier quarterback is Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones. Very true. Anthony Richardson might be the worst quarterback. The worst quarterback that had a chance at a starting job this year. I think Anthony Richardson is so bad. Not trying to sound racist, but it's mainly the black community who thought Sanders was getting blackballed, but he isn't as good as people make him seem. Well, listen, it's not. I don't think it's racist at all. I think you're pointing out the obvious. And listen, I also don't think it's just the black community that said that. I think it's a lot of people that like to stir up controversy. There was plenty of there were plenty of white people that were saying the same thing. I don't even think it's a race thing. I think it's people. Shedeur Sanders is so polarizing that there's a lot of people that look at it and they're like, wow, how come this guy didn't get in the NFL? How come it took him so long to get drafted? When really they didn't watch every single thing. There's so many things to being a quarterback. Yeah, Shedeur Sanders does a lot of cool, flashy shit, but he also does a lot of things that cost you games, like getting sacked for 25-yard losses and shit. Hillary for president? Damn. A little bit late there, Anthony. Where do you get that hat? Love it. Would be better if it was a Niners one. It's a Noggin Boss hat. You can buy a Niners one. AR is the worst quarterback to get a starting spot in NFL history. He might be, honestly. Tom Brady did a workout with Shador. He told the Raiders not to draft him. Yeah. I mean, for as close as Tom Brady and Shador Sanders are, you know, the Raiders were never in the market to get him. They passed on him like 6 or 7 times. A bunch of times. That's how you know the guy's bad. Him and Tom Brady, like, Tom Brady was like his, what do you call it? His, like, mentor. And was like, I'm not going anywhere near this guy. Do you know who Jamarcus Russell is? I think he's the worst. Jamarcus Russell had talent, though, Sam. That's the thing. Anthony Richardson had zero, was never, I don't think Anthony Richardson ever did one thing in college that made me go, this is the guy. You know, he was another one. He was a great athlete. That was the best thing about Anthony Richardson. He had arm talent. He's kind of, you know, what I'd expect. I actually think Shador Sanders has better arm talent than Anthony Richardson, actually. I think the idea was Anthony Richardson was such a project-type quarterback, and the Colts, for some ungodly reason, fell in love with him, and it didn't take long for them to realize, okay, this isn't it. Vikings getting Thielen is such an underrated move. They needed the receiving depth. Oh, for sure. Absolutely. And what does Tom Brady know about evaluating talent? He has zero experience in that field. I mean, he's only the greatest NFL quarterback of all time. Okay, if not Tom Brady, then why did it take 5 rounds for Shador Sanders to be drafted? I genuinely think Cleveland Browns, their ownership group is just so stupid that, you know, they saw Shador Sanders on the board, realized, hey, that's more eyeballs on the Cleveland Browns. And, like, I think that's the only reason he got drafted. Absolutely. Like, I don't think Shador Sanders gets drafted by a team if the Cleveland Browns ownership doesn't come in and go, hey, Shador's still there. That's why owners cannot get involved in anything. I thought we were talking about Rodgers. My bad. Oh, no. I mean, Rodgers didn't even fall off. Rodgers had a great year a year ago. He's old. Definitely not the prime Aaron Rodgers, but throwing the ball last year, he was fine. AR did go 6-6 in college. How the hell did he get drafted? Because he made like one throw at a combine. You know, Anthony Richardson had a good arm. And, you know, he's fast. In like this new generation of quarterback, I guess the Colts thought like, hey, we could turn this guy into something. But really, Anthony Richardson couldn't make a decision on the field. He couldn't make the short, easy throws. He couldn't do anything. The Browns may have the worst ran franchise in sports. Hornets close second. Why do all the draft experts have Sanders going in the top 10? Are they stupid too? See how many times those draft experts have these guys going early and they suck? Like, okay, I'm going to go see it. Yeah. Marlins also up there. Orioles. The Orioles are a poorly ran franchise. The Orioles let their young core just completely rot because they didn't do anything in the offseason. Jamarcus Russell took the money and ran, lazy player. Oh yeah, Jamarcus Russell was unbelievably talented. He just didn't care about getting any better. Once he got to the NFL, he took his money, let himself get overweight, didn't study a thing, and that was it. If you want to be real, Rodgers is an overall better quarterback talent-wise than Brady, and Brady's very smart. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Brady also had the greatest NFL coach of all time. Overall lesson, don't draft guys to top 5 if they one flashy play in the combine. Dude, so many teams got fooled by that. The Jets got fooled by Zach Wilson. We have a top 5 stadium and great fans. Organization sucks. Yeah. Brutal time for the Baltimore Orioles for sure. Jamarcus was genuinely better than Anthony Richardson. Oh, not even close. Jamarcus Russell was so talented. Like, he was such a good quarterback in college. He got to the NFL and just like, it was clear he probably never watched a fucking ounce of film in college. That's just how good he was. Like, he could go out there and wing it at the college level. The problem is it doesn't work in the NFL. Is he the one who threw the ball on one knee? Yeah, Jamarcus Russell like threw the ball from like the 50-yard line on one knee and threw it through the uprights or some shit. Like, just insane. Like, if that's the story, I'm pretty sure that's it. He literally from a knee, I'm pretty sure he was at the 50-yard line, threw it through the uprights. If Brady was just the greatest of all time, I'd understand. maybe he shouldn't be evaluating talent, but he's known for being the most insane, ridiculous viewer. Yeah, absolutely. Kyle Schwarber 4 home runs today, nuts. Of course, Kyle Schwarber, once he leaves Citi Field, once it's not the Mets pitching to him, he's totally fine. How asinine is it? Like, I was dealing with so many Phillies fans going like, dude, how come the Mets always hit so well at home? Like, are they cheating or something? And there's not a team in baseball who has more ridiculous splits, home versus away, than the Philadelphia Phillies. Like, Ohtani's still the MVP, though? Yeah, 100%. It's like, Kyle Schwarber is better than any Mets players right now. I mean, yeah, Kyle Schwarber's been unbelievable. But, like, I'm saying, like, there's no fucking sense of, like, there's no sense with that city. Like, talking to the people in Philadelphia, it's like, you're not getting any sensible conversation out of it. They're like, the Mets always play so much better at home. The Phillies have the craziest splits, home versus away, of anybody in baseball. If anybody would be cheating, it'd be the Phillies. And I'm not saying they are. I think that's so ridiculous. But, like, every radio station in Philly says the same thing. Oh, the Mets hit the ball so well at home. Phillies literally have the best splits of anybody. They have the best home splits versus the road. Anybody. I completely understand the ring argument is going to factor in all this, but man, Mahomes and Brady are neck and neck for the GOAT argument. Yeah, I mean, Patrick Mahomes might be the most talented quarterback we're ever going to see. Like, I don't think that's crazy to say. I think Tom Brady going to another organization and winning a Super Bowl really cemented just how good he was. Clearly winning followed him. You know how I am. I'm not big on, like, rings are not the end-all be-all to me. It's just, it can't be because there's so many other factors. But that is a big thing that Tom Brady won in another organization, in my opinion. Lamar Jackson is better than both of them. I don't agree with that. I don't. Patrick Mahomes is a much better, throws the ball 10 times better than Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson's a better athlete. He's faster, but not better than Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes isn't even a top 5 quarterback. Lamar's better than Mahomes right now. I agree. Today, right now, Lamar Jackson's a better quarterback. I agree. Not in every way. No, that's just not the case. He's not a better. He does not throw the ball better than Patrick Mahomes. Pretty much everything else, running the ball, moving the ball down the field. I agree. If you made them both stand in the pocket and throw, Patrick Mahomes is a better quarterback. But the thing is, Lamar Jackson's legs are so good and valuable that it keeps the defense on their toes. That's something Patrick Mahomes can't do. And, any little bit of weakness that Lamar Jackson might have in his throwing arm, which isn't much. It's really not. Like, Lamar Jackson's a fine quarterback. Because of his ability to run, keeps the defense on their toes. Polar Bear is going to get paid big time by the Mets or somebody else. I don't think he is. Honestly, Mike, I don't think Pete Alonso is going to get paid big time. The market didn't open up for him last year. I know he had a rough year, but first basemen that are predominantly power hitters don't age well and don't get paid very well. He's a guy, he was clamoring for Matt Olson money last year, and Matt Olson's fallen off a cliff. I don't know if you noticed. These guys that are just big power hitting first basemen, power hitters don't age well. They never do. Guys who are just like pure power hitters, they don't. And I don't think Pete Alonso's market's going to be... Listen, he might get paid in the short term, high money, but I don't think he's getting like some massive contract. I don't think that's going to happen. Lamar Jackson surpassing Michael Vick for the most rushing yards by a quarterback and only doing it in 7 seasons. Listen, I'm not trying to talk down about Lamar Jackson. Absolutely not. Lamar Jackson is phenomenal. I don't think Patrick Mahomes had a better team than what Lamar Jackson had last year. Honestly. Lamar Jackson, the Ravens team Lamar Jackson had last year was unbelievable. I guess, like, the weapons around him, I don't know. Even that, like, Lamar threw 5 touchdowns in his debut versus the Dolphins. How did Mahomes do? I don't even remember. But Lamar, like, Nathan, I feel like every time you make an argument, you find, like, something supremely specific. Like, I'll never forget as a Bengals fan when he had the Chiefs beat 2022 AFC title game. Chiefs got a redo play. Oh my god, yeah, that was one of the wackest things ever. Lamar's going into year 8. Is he? Year 8? This Ravens team for the upcoming season. Oh, absolutely. This Ravens team, I think the Ravens are the best team in the AFC coming in. Like, talent-wise on that roster, there's no reason the Ravens shouldn't win the AFC. You know, they probably won the AFC a year ago if fucking Mark Andrews doesn't have stone hands. But, like, last year's Chiefs team was probably the worst iteration of the Chiefs that you've had ever since Patrick Mahomes took over. Maybe I do. I'm not sure. I'll have to keep an eye on that. Yeah, it is what it is. Nathan, you bring in good debates. You definitely. I'm not trying to put you down, but like sometimes you go to things that are super specific where it's like it's a very small sample size. We got lucky playing the Steelers in the wild card and not a decent playoff team. Yeah, that's true. I'm 100% confident the refs favor the Chiefs with every playoff game. It's more and more obvious. I mean, when you look at it, like there's obviously, especially the last couple of years with the Chiefs, the NFL didn't do anything to hide it. Like, and it's the weirdest fucking thing going around in the entire world is the obsession everybody has with Taylor Swift. Now that Taylor Swift is connected to the Chiefs, I'm so certain that, you know, the NFL did a few things to push the Chiefs to where they ended up. Like, you know, having the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, having Taylor Swift at the Super Bowl, having her at all these playoff games brings in a big time audience that you never had, which is the crazy fucking maniacs that are Taylor Swift fans. They are like the most fucking. It might be the scariest cult on earth, is the Swifties. I don't doubt one bit that the NFL didn't see that, saw the numbers go up, and they were like, "Hey, we gotta make sure these guys are as far as they can go." Because right when the Super Bowl happened, all of a sudden all that magic disappeared. Bills game and Texans game were fucking ridiculous. Oh yeah, absolutely. Mahomes was ass last year. Mahomes was not very good a year ago. Lamar Jackson is the most funny quarterback to watch in the NFL. What do you mean? Oh, the most funnest. I thought you said funniest. I was like, how so? No, Lamar Jackson's he's a maniac back there. He's great. Like, his ability to escape pressure, how fast he is, it's crazy. Yeah, Mahomes didn't have the best year. Still not horrible. Yeah, it's still not terrible. It was a down year for Mahomes standards. Taylor Swift does the halftime show. Oh, dude, we don't need that. Nobody needs that. It's clear the NFL wants Taylor Swift in the spotlight. They cut to her every half second. Well, yeah, they know what they're doing. There's some weird fucking whack obsession with Taylor Swift that everybody seems to have, which is just so fucking annoying. Listen, she makes great music. Don't get me wrong, but there's something very strange about the fucking hex she has over the world. You ever been to a Jets or Knicks game? I've been to both. I've been to plenty of Jet games, plenty of Knicks games. Metallica have the second highest odds behind Swift. Let's pray for that. Metallica would be cool. I feel like the halftime shows have been stale recently. Metallica would be a good, like, change up. Taylor Swift would be too predictable. But they would get the eyes on the Super Bowl, that's for sure. And I think that's all the NFL cares about. So, gonna be Taylor Swift. What Jet games are you going to this year, if you already know? I don't already know. I think I'm going to... They play the Patriots, I think, week 3 on Thursday. Come to Baltimore this year. I don't know if I'm going to come to Baltimore. That just seems like a bad idea. Like, you know, making that trip just to watch the Jets get fucking pounded. I was hoping, you know, at some point, maybe I'd get a sponsor or some shit. It's not happening yet. The thing with Factor, so I just haven't had them up on my screen. I forgot about that. Yikes. So hopefully they're not watching. So I do have a sponsor. It's just I'm talking somebody that'll send me to like fucking London to go see the Jets. I feel like I could be a great correspondent, but we'll see. Metallica would be fucking epic. Dude, I saw Metallica a couple years ago at Lollapalooza. Fucking sickest, unbelievable show. It was like the aura around it was unbelievable. Them playing fucking Enter Sandman outdoors in the dark. Phenomenal, man. They've always been crud who. NFL have been wanting Swift, but she's declining until she finishes up the albums of hers. NFL should bring Metallica. They're still very popular. They are. That fucking Enter Sandman at Lollapalooza in Chicago was like, it was one of those moments where I had goosebumps. It was that fucking sick. Favorite Jets player of all time in game? say my favorite Jets player of all time, probably Chad Pennington, just because he was like really the first guy I remember. He was the first like Jet player I loved. Favorite game of all time, I was this is a personal one for me, and it's pretty sad as a Jet fan, but the Jets played the Patriots in 2013 at home, and I went to that game with my dad, and they beat the Patriots in overtime. They won on a game-winning field goal in overtime, and it was really just because I was there with my dad. It was such a good experience. Probably my favorite Jet game of all time. The 2013 Jets played the Patriots. Geno Smith had a great day. Game-winning field goal in overtime. Just because I was there with my dad. I want to see Drake do a halftime show. He's my hero. Drake halftime show would be pretty sick. Drake at halftime would be fucking whack. That's the opposite sides of the spectrum. Halftime shows? Oh, yeah. Listen, for the most part, there's been a couple good halftime shows in the last, like, probably 5 or 6 years. The halftime shows have been miserable. Awful. Like, I thought Kendrick Lamar sucked last year. Who was it? Beyonce? I forget. I don't even fucking remember. But, like, change it up. Stop trying to make such a fucking spectacle of it and just, like, have a concert. Favorite player, AJ Green. Favorite game, 2021 Super Bowl. Nice. Even though I cried. There's something about it. Even though they were there. It was that they were there. They made it so much. Kendrick was great. I thought Kendrick sucked. I thought it was awful. Wow, Super Bowl favorite game. Even after losing, I thought you'd never want to remember it. I thought Kendrick was horrible. I disagree. And I like Kendrick Lamar. I didn't think his concert was good. Early Kendrick's the best. Like Section 80, Good Kid, Mad City. That's the Kendrick I loved. 2021 Super Bowl was my favorite because I was the winner. That's good. See, that's a good one to remember. Kendrick's latest album was very good. I didn't like it. All of a sudden, everyone was a gangster last halftime. Yeah, that was really weird. The Serena Williams thing. Imagine like being the guy married to Serena Williams, and knowing that she was up there because it was a diss at like her ex-boyfriend. That's so fucking trashy and weird. Like I'd be super upset personally. Dare you say you don't listen to rap, bro? Damn. Eminem needs to do a Super Bowl. Eminem could do a Super Bowl, but it's the same thing. Like Eminem's new stuff sucks. And I love Eminem. I love Eminem's old stuff. I'm a big Eminem guy. I don't like his new shit. I'm not big into the new Eminem stuff. Why was Kendrick wearing ladies' pants? I have no idea. It was for the culture? Yeah, but like, I don't know. It's kind of weird. I guess like, bigger perspective, bigger picture, like a spectacle like that. I guess it makes somewhat sense, but still, I'd be pissed. How about this? I think both those Kendrick albums are terrible. I actually was a Kendrick fan for years before the beef. I listened to other artists we probably never heard of. Kendrick has been a hypocrite and is everything he claims to hate. Would you say Kendrick's like the CM Punk of rap? I would love to talk about CM Punk, but we could do that anytime. I think CM Punk is the biggest fucking like loser hypocrite on the planet. I don't think there's there's somebody I dislike that I don't know more than CM Punk. Just do a Revolution halftime show. I think both of them are bad though. Gangsta doesn't impress me at all. I didn't even notice, Joe, though. I didn't even see that. Can't stand Drake. LL. Dude was a real life actor, then became a rapper who sang cool music and then tried acting gangsta. I mean, for some reason, I feel like a lot of rappers just like changed recently. But I think Drake's newer stuff is is slightly better than Kendrick's. I was a bigger Kendrick fan back in the day, but it's like it's not very big. It's not a very big deal. Like it's not like I don't really like either one that much that I would be willing to fight over it. Any UFC fans in here? There's a couple. I'm not one of them. I'm not a big UFC guy. Yeah, but Drake wasn't a wealthy actor. Definitely not. I mean, excuse me. He wasn't wealthy before he became an actor. Excuse me. He got wealthy. He got his fame from Degrassi, and then started his rap career from there. CM does what he has to be successful. I respect that. Look, I understand that like he does what he's doing. He's willing like he went back to the WWE after like that long time and all this shit. I get that. You know, sometimes you got to eat crow to get ahead, and I'm okay with that, Nathan. But like, it just seems like CM Punk he always stood up for all this shit. Like, oh, like every time everything he stood up for, and like he's constantly the reason there's problems everywhere. He's the biggest fucking crybaby on the planet. Like when it's not him, getting his way, nobody can have it. And like every wrestler, so many people that worked with him have said the same shit about CM Punk, where it's like he's a fucking giant baby. Like anytime he doesn't get his way, he said all this to say about like the WWE going to Saudi Arabia and taking the Saudi money. Then he went over there himself. I think Seth Rollins is the hypocrite. I disagree. I think Seth Rollins, like, I think he's somebody who's not afraid to speak his mind, and he's never really changed up. I think Punk has like no morals. I think he's just like he speaks just to be in the news and just to hear his own voice sometimes. I don't think he really believes a word he says. I think he's a hypocrite. He called Drake a deadbeat father and said Drake ran to Atlanta for clout and then instantly ran to Atlanta to collab with Cardi, a known deadbeat father, calling him his evil twin. Gonna cry watching Cena officially retire. You want to talk about something that was totally fucked up? Like, WWE recently, I've been like half paying attention, but I feel like it is such a fucking clusterfuck what they've done with John Cena's retirement, with so many things. I think wrestling right now is as awful as it's ever been. Did you ever like CM Punk? Can you give him a little bit of flowers at least? I think CM Punk, the wrestler, is great. He's a great talker on the mic. Genuinely, I think CM Punk as a wrestler, like the performer CM Punk, is phenomenal. I think he's so good at talking. He's one of those guys. When I try to say like who gives a good promo, I like to look at people like I personally don't like The Rock's promo style because like I feel like it's just a lot of short, choppy, one-liners and shit. I like guys who capture your attention when they speak. And CM Punk's one of those guys where you hang on his every word. Cena's another one. I like CM Punk the performer. I think on the mic there's few people in history that have been better at capturing the audience's attention than CM Punk. I think as a wrestler, phenomenal entertainer. Got nothing bad to say about him. Behind the scenes, the actual person, I feel like he's a giant crybaby. I've only been watching the pay-per-views. I've like been getting the recaps really. Did you see the low blow WWE writers greenlight Becky Lynch to say about Ozzy and where he's from, Birmingham? Yeah, that was tough, but like it's wrestling, she's a heel. I don't know. That was a tough one. That was brutal. I think people might have taken it a little bit too far. Thank you, because my little brother loves CM Punk when he debuted. Listen, I think CM Punk's come a long way. I have nothing but respect for the wrestler CM Punk. Great at what he does. I just think the guy is a fucking hypocrite. Too soon though, man. It was very soon. I agree with that. You gotta at least you gotta ask like the family permission, I would think, at first. Like, I don't think that's something you just drop for no reason. They can make an Ozzy joke. I hope they make a Hogan joke. Like, come on. Yeah, you're right. But the thing about Becky Lynch's character, she's always been one to go over the edge with shit. She's always been one to, like, say things that, like, give you that shock factor. But, like, yeah, right. That was too far. I'm not defending it. Mets getting Cedric Mullins was so fucking dumb. Yeah, Cedric Mullins sucks, dude. He is miserable. At that point, the Mets got caught with their pants down, though, Cody. Because I think the Mets had all their eggs in one basket, that Luis Robert was going to be the guy. And when the White Sox yanked him off the market, they kind of put the Mets in a bad spot, where the one spot they needed to improve desperately was center field. And Cedric Mullins was the only guy on the, he was the only guy on the, that was available. I think Ozzy's daughter, Kelly, has every right to be mad. I get it. Now my goat, Win Mullins, is not that bad. He's having a tough time right now, Sam. He is. It just, this whole thing didn't work out. What I don't understand, like I said, I think the Mets got caught with their pants down, and at that point they had to do something. I don't know about CM Punk, but Randy Orton is the biggest crybaby. He always demands for everything to be handed to him. I think Randy Orton's changed a lot. I think Randy Orton, like, is a tough, he's somebody he doesn't like doing things he's not comfortable doing, but he does them and then comes around to them. I don't think they're the same guy. I saw him strike out 5 times in the game earlier this year. Did you see the whole Cracker Barrel logo saga, LMAO? I did. That was weird. The Cracker Barrel logo is odd, but I heard somebody explain why they changed their logo and why that was a thing. And it makes perfect sense. You guys ever hear about this? Like, how, like, people are like, they miss, like, the McDonald's buildings. They miss the old, like, Pizza Hut buildings and shit. I hate the new trend of desolate, modernized logos with no soul. But there's a reason behind it. And I heard the reason, and it makes perfect sense. These companies are starting to build buildings that, IHOP doesn't have a specific design anymore, because now what they do is they buy the land and they build on the land. So the idea is to create a building that's just like, a square building that could be anything. So it's easier to sell the land if they ever go out of business in that spot. And then that's the same thing with the logos. It's easier to change everything. And it's easier to sell the property if there's less to do with the building itself. That's why the logos look like they do today, because, like, you just have a square yellow box that says Cracker Barrel. Very easy to change it into something else. It's more about the resale than anything when it comes to these properties nowadays. So it actually makes perfect sense. Trust me, it looks like shit. I hate it. I wish, I wish Pizza Hut was shaped in its own way. I wish McDonald's was shaped in its own way. But from a business perspective, it actually makes perfect sense. So why change the logo to a soulless corporate garbage? Because the same thing. Because you're going to put up a sign that says Cracker Barrel. You make it a square, like, soulless sign, so that if a company buys it, if, like, let's say, I don't know, McDonald's wants to buy up that space, not very hard to change the color of a sign like that and just put your logo on it. When it's like a very specific shaped logo, that's a lot of extra work that these companies don't want to do. I don't follow baseball that heavy due to the fact that I'm an Orioles fan, but who's the top teams right now and who's projected to win it all this year? I would say probably the Tigers in the American League. I don't know. The National League is a little bit of a toss-up right now. The Brewers are the best team in the National League right now. There's an Indian place near my house that's an old Pizza Hut with the old exterior design. Yeah, but what do you think when you see it? At the end of the day, you see it, you're always going to think Pizza Hut. The problem is it's hard to sell buildings like that. The buildings are going to be worth more if they're not customized to the restaurant that they are. Like, the value of a building that's just a plain, like, soulless building is way higher than a building that's specifically built to be McDonald's or Pizza Hut. If that makes sense. Like, the soulless isn't because of anything other than the resale value. Dodgers have been the betting favorite. Yeah, Sam, thanks for stopping by, man. Appreciate it. I'm going to hit the hay soon, too. Getting fucking late. Dodgers 100% winning, you think? But, yeah, guys, I'm going to hop off, too. I'm fucking shot. It's going to take me like 5 minutes to get up. So, you guys have a good night. I will see you guys tomorrow.